everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, you know I like to keep you updated on articles that I think are pretty interesting. Well, this is one of them. Over on gamesindustry.biz, in an article by Chris Dring titled The Truth About Video Game Awards Events, the author talks about how he helped organize many awards in the games industry, and yet somehow he's never given me one. Anyway, joking aside, if I am joking, he mentions that even while organizing them, he really didn't like watching them all that much, and I'll be honest, I'm in the exact same boat. I always feel like award shows are for the people who are nominated, and other than that, completely unwatchable. Take, for example, the streamies that happened this past weekend. Even the tweets about it were boring to me. I have no doubt that if you won or were nominated or whatever, you probably had a lovely time. But for most of us, it means nothing. The article then goes on to deep dive how awards are judged and the various problems with the judgments, and it's very, very interesting. I definitely recommend reading it. And when it gets to the Game Awards, he talks about how it's sort of a mix of video game ad machine and award show, and how as an award show, it really doesn't represent all games that well. The Game Awards this week features a lot of different categories, and almost all of them are designed to appeal to core game fans. You're not gonna get a lot of mobile or casual titles up for prizes. Wordle doesn't get a single nomination. The job of the Game Awards, outside of celebrating great games, is to entertain gamers, so that publishers can showcase what's coming next to them, he says. But here's the thing, that's the only part I wanna see. All the trailers, the promotions of what's next, that's why I'm watching. It's why I don't ignore the Video Game Awards. It's why they're successful, is because people tune in to see what's next. To be honest, he could just do that and just do like these are the awards people won and move on and we'd all be fine. But it is also for the industry and whatever, and that's how they get the money, so I get it. But I'm just saying, if it was just 2 hours of trailers, we'd all be very happy. And personally, I think that's what sets it apart from other award shows. Ones where I'm like, well, why do they choose this? Or how do they pick that? Right? Even with bare minimum of caring, I'm like, who are the judges for this? Honestly, I don't care about the judges for any of the Video Game Awards. Doesn't matter what they're giving out or who they're giving it to. I do not care because I'm there for what's next. Congratulations to the winners. Awesome for you. But honestly, I just want to see what's coming down the pipeline, and that's why I'm watching. Otherwise, I simply would not. What do you think? Am I off the map here? Is this me just ranting, or do you agree? Because I feel like we're going to agree on this. It doesn't seem like that controversial of a topic, and most people are watching because of all the trailers and stuff, right? Right? In other news, did woke reviewers kill Days Gone? John Garvin, director of the post-apocalyptic biker game Days Gone, was asked on Twitter why he thought the game didn't get more critical praise. His response was given in 3 reasons. 1, it had tech issues like bugs, streaming, and frame rate. 2, it had reviewers who couldn't be bothered to actually play the game. And 3, it had woke reviewers who couldn't handle the gruff white biker looking at his date's ass. Which, to be clear, anyone using the word woke to deride an opinion as being invalid is just stupid. But thankfully, I don't even have to address that part because, as some in his replies mentioned, Red Dead Redemption 2, which is all sorts of racism and sexism and other things that you might assume a woke reviewer would hate. But weird, it seems like people loved that one. When it comes to the first 2, how you could even write those things without understanding they both come hand in hand is beyond me. If your game has issues that make it hard to play, reviewers aren't going to sit there and suffer through your errors. But the craziest thing is that, while I personally didn't like Days Gone, I know many people who did, and clearly they weren't the only ones, as the game was one of the best-selling games of 2019, and according to their own team, sold over 8 million copies by the end of 2020. Yet somehow Garvin's out here with the same attitude as Square Enix when they discovered that Tomb Raider only sold 5 million. Like, what? And just add on to the fact that Garvin in the past said that people shouldn't expect a sequel since they didn't support it at launch and buy it at fucking full price. That's a quote. But maybe, just maybe, the idea of a biker stuck in the zombie apocalypse that suffers from extreme pacing issues, maybe that whole thing is a dated idea players are bored of. Maybe 8 million is huge and they should be thankful they got that instead of nothing. But that's not Garvin. If you want to know who Garvin is, he currently leads a company that is creating a game that it bills as the first true Web 3.0 AAA title for PC, console. Yeah, I mean, that should give you a clear picture of what I think. But real talk, I feel like this goes back to that weird space AAA devs are put into where the constraints on them and then the expectations on them, all of it's too high and out of whack, and their perspective is way off, and they lose track of what players are interested in. There's just so many factors that go into why I can see exactly why someone would think this way, but also why it's absolutely bonkers. And so, I don't know, man. It just feels like you should be thankful you made a game and it was great. And I don't know where this guy's coming from, but I guess it's a place of I want money because that's the only kind of people who operate in Web3. So anyway, that is it for this episode. Man, that was a lot of thoughts today, Jesse. But we'll be back tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News. I'll see you then.